sports. And they all wear a whistle, yeah, it's stupid. But what did you expect? It's a podcast called 25 Whistles. 25 Whistles.
The sport still doesn't hit exactly right. It almost sounds like we're yelling, Borscht or Ports. Porsche. Something like that. Sports. Well, it's supposed to say sports. Hello, everybody. This is 25 Whistles, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Download the DraftKings app. Use the code BobbySports. Get in on the action. And let's blow the whistle and get this show underway. Got big Jim Nantz news, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
Are we starting that?
We can, if you want to do that first.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get Jim Nantz on the show. And I thought, I don't know, I'll have like my management team reach out to his. Much easier than me trying to figure out how to reach out to him. And I don't always ask him to do that, set up interviews, but I figured Jim Nantz is such a big get, such a big fish that, and also he lives here now.
Yeah.
Supposedly. And so I did hear a story, though, about Jim Nantz going to a golf club here in town because he just moved here. And it's like, I'd like to be a member. And they're like, we have a waiting list. It's hard to get on anywhere because there's a waiting list. And he wasn't anything about it, but it's like, it's Jim Nantz. It's like if Kobe wanted to join the Y to play basketball. And you're like, I'm sorry, Kobe, we don't have any room for another basket. No. It's Kobe. Like, he has a lifetime specialty. What he's most known for is playing basketball.
Yeah.
And you're going to say no to Kobe? You're going to say no to Jim Nantz? Mr. Golf? Mr. Voice of the Masters?
Yeah.
I can't confirm that story completely, but my source was really good. And they were like, he just wanted to join. And he wasn't trying to force himself up the line. But everybody around him was kind of surprised because he's the voice of golf. Like, that's freaking Jim Nantz.
Yes.
They wouldn't let. And how cool would it be for a club to, they don't say it outwardly, but inside the club, how cool would it be for other members to go in the real life, like, yeah, Jim Nantz is now a member at our club. Mm-hmm. That would be so legit.
Yes, absolutely.
What are they thinking? Like, I would get it. You know, there were a couple places a couple clubs I tried to join, and they were like, ooh, we have a wait list of a year. So you can join the club and pay the dues, but you have to wait a year. I was like, no way. I went to one. I don't know the difference in pre-pandemic and right after the pandemic because the pandemic never quite ended. It just kind of went away slowly. So I don't know if it was right before or right after, but I went to a club here in town, and I was like, I'm going to join a golf club. Now, right when I moved here, I lived on a golf course. I moved here. I moved to a part of town that was in Brentwood, Tennessee, which is 25 minutes south of Nashville. And I moved, and there was a club there, and I lived in a place because they said you should live there. There's walls, there's gates. It's a gated community. People can't come in and kill you. Crazily, there was a guy that killed his wife and ran around with a gun in the streets.
In that neighborhood?
Yeah.
What?
So it wasn't anybody coming in. It was somebody that was already in. Killed his wife. Yeah, it's crazy. So, but it was a golf course type community. So I go and I join. I'm like, I finally made it. I got enough money now to go join a country club. I'm legit. I didn't even know what a country club was. But now I know what it is, and I can afford it. So I go, and I pay my crazy amount of dues that you have to pay up front. And not only that, I get to go, like, just drop a backpack and be like, I'm paying all my dues right now. Mm-hmm. Like a really cool moment for me. So they're like, okay, cool. Then you drop your thousands of dollars up front, and then you do your $300-400 a month or whatever that fee is. And bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. And I'm like, I'm going to play so much golf. I'm going to play so much. I'm going to get new clubs, not because they're old, but because I'm going to wipe the face off of them. They're just going to be used so much. In the year and a half, 2 years that I lived there, I played maybe 4 times.
Wow.
Because I was gone so much and worked so much. And then I eventually had to leave the club. And so all that down money, just gone. And never really got to play there. Oh. So I was like, I'm never joining a club again. What a waste of money. What a waste of money. Then things started going a little better and better and better. And I started to go, well, I think I'm going to try to play golf. Because I didn't play golf for like 5 or 6 years at all because I just did not have the time. I didn't play golf in my life until later at all. I mean, I probably didn't even pick up a club till 28.
Wow.
Never I didn't play golf in Arkansas.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, at least where I was, we had no golf courses. I had nobody that played golf. We didn't have a school golf team. That was kind of like a rich person sport.
Okay.
And so once I got to 27, 28, and I was doing pretty good in Austin, I joined like it wasn't a club, but you could pay, and then if you paid this amount every month, you could just go play whenever you wanted. It was like my entry to a golf club, like entry to understanding what it was. And so I would do that all the time. And Eddie was working news, and since he was working news and his job was just to go and find news and shoot it, he'd just come play golf. There was no news to be found.
Was he working on the golf course?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's working. I'd do finger quotes.
Yes, exactly, yes.
And so we played golf, and I wasn't good. We did that for about 2 years. So my first 2 years was learning how to play golf. The 1 year after that was when I joined here, and then I didn't play for 5 or 6 years. So probably like 36 or 37, and I've only played golf for about 3 years. So I got back in a few years ago. So I've really only played golf for like 5 years. And I'm going to go join a new club. And so I go and I joined a new club, and I'm in. But when we looked around, we went to all these places. One place in particular, it was a real nice club. And they have like swimming. We didn't need that. We have a swimming pool. But they got swimming, and they got like a gym, and they got all this stuff. Like an athletic center and tennis courts. And I sit through like an hour tour. And I'm like, this is real nice, real nice. And all you want to know is really how much it costs. Because they don't tell you that up front. Because it's never something that's super comfortable. So they want you to like fall in love with it before they go, and here you need $70,000 to pay to be it. And that's only like the middle of the road clubs. There are some here in town that are $150 just to be a member. Like you're hello, I'd like to be a member. I'll pay this up front.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. There's one, you have to own property on it. And with that property, you ain't going to pay less than, even for a lot, like $3 million.
So you own the property and you pay your member fee?
You own the property, but you pay a member fee, but you don't have any down payment.
Gotcha.
So, but it gets pretty crazy, right?
Yes.
And so we're looking at this one, do the whole process, walk through all of it. And my wife's with me, and she didn't really care. She kind of is like, are we sure we want to spend this money on a club? And I'm like, I just want to play golf because it lets me compete. Like, it's really the only thing. I could play basketball, like go to the Y and play basketball, but I don't want to tear a knee. And then I can't do all this other stuff that I'm doing on television, because at the time I was doing a lot of outdoor climbing, a lot of really risky stuff on television, at least. I was doing Breaking Bobby Bones. I was doing Bear Grylls, so Snake in the Grass when I was in Costa Rica. And so we spend all this time. Hour, 15 minutes later. I feel like I'm being recruited to a campus.
You're a D1 athlete?
Yes. My sponsors have been showing. I feel like I know her now.
Yeah.
And finally, we sit down in like a little office, and she has a folder. She goes, okay, and here's rates, and here's X and Y and Z. And all I want to do is say how much it costs. That's it. Just want to know how much it costs. And they have different, at country clubs, which I've learned in the last few years, they have different levels. You can just be a social. Social is you can go and eat there, and you can do the tennis, you can do the sauna if they have one. But then there's a level up, which is golf. That's like the supreme high tier membership.
So you would go there if you didn't have the golf one, just basically to hang out and get some treatment and just say you're part of a membership.
Tennis.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
like
other
a gym,
amenities,
but a different spin on it, kind of.
And they have a gym.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, most of them have a gym.
Okay.
So she hands me the folder, and it's like, open it up. It's like entry fee $80,000, and then it's pay the $450 a month or whatever it is, and there's a minimum you have to spend on food, or they just take it out. Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm not at a place where I'm going, nah, this ain't for us. I'm like, well, that's a healthy number, but I want to do it. I can afford it, so let's go. And I'm like, okay, cool. So when can we join? She's like, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, there's a 1.5 year wait to play golf. And I'm like, oh my God. I just did this for almost 2 hours, and you knew the one reason I wanted to join was, and you, oh my God. It was the biggest trap I've ever been in. I couldn't believe it. A 1.5 year wait to play golf. Apparently during the pandemic, everybody wanted to play golf, so they started trying to join clubs, and we're still not to where everybody's on a wait list. There are clubs that you can be like, oh, rich person problems. This is coming off the Jim Nantz story. And yeah, true. I'll also agree to that.
Yeah.
It is that. It's not even a problem. But so they were like, no, that's not the thing. So I want to be a member of a club. And also, I'm just being very honest with everybody listening to this. I can't act like I'm poor anymore, because I'm not. But And I always would want to know, like, what happens? How do you do that?
Yeah.
I want to go to people's houses and knock on the door that are huge and be like, for real, how did you make the money? What do you do to have this house?
Yeah.
That to me, like, how does that money, I know how I got my money, but how does that money even exist? Do people do that? And so finally found a club, true story, finally found a club that was close, that I liked, wasn't as expensive, all good. And I go and I play, and I don't really go and meet people or make friends because I don't go to the social stuff because mostly it turns into me going, if me and my wife are going to hang out, then this is people taking pictures, and that's fine, but I don't want to go to that if it's like a meet and greet. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to do a meet and greet. I'm happy to say hi to people randomly, but when it turns into like 25 or 30 minutes, and if my wife and I are doing something out and about, that takes a lot of time away from if we're purposefully doing something together. So I don't do a lot of social, so I don't know a lot of people there, but I would take my friends. And I would like Reed would go and we'd play golf there a little bit, and Eddie. And I have to pay for non-members to come and play with me. But that's fine, right? We're killing it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, finally, I got a club. I can just go play golf at any time. My wife and I can go have dinner. There's 6 different reasons that it's cool. A little expensive. Like, it's not a good way to spend your money if you're cutting it close. Mm-hmm. Like, if we didn't have dispensable income, I just wouldn't do it. And so I'm like getting into the groove. I've actually met a couple people there that I'm like, okay, cool. And then we get the email, hey, we're shutting the golf course down for a year. We have to tear it up, and we're rebuilding a new one. So I'm still paying dues. No golf course.
You have to pay still?
Oh yeah, they got to build a golf course with something. So after all that, me joining, playing golf there for like a year, 9 months, a year. They tore the golf course out. You can't get on. It's completely shut down.
But you can do everything else with a membership. You just can't play golf.
My club does not have a tennis court.
Okay.
And my wife would like to play tennis. So I'm like, sorry, it wasn't so we don't, I don't even go. It's dead. The club is dead.
So now that money is used for their construction.
Yeah. For a year. It's unbelievable. It's the stupidest thing that ever happened to me. But imagine if you were at a club and they said, no, we weren't going to let Jim Nantz be in. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Now, that being said, I will get to my Jim Nantz story. Because I've been nervous to text Jim Nantz. Because he's freaking Jim Nantz. That's the only reason.
Yes. And that's the only reason why you let him in that golf course.
Yeah.
Club.
Yeah. And so if you missed the early version of the story, I wanted to get Jim Nantz and management. But then my guy, Tom, texted me Jim Nantz's cell phone number. He says, this is Jim Nantz's number. He said, just call him. He remembers you from Pebble. So just call him or text him and say what's up, set it up. And I'm like, okay. Then I'm like, no way. I don't know what to even do or say. It's like I'm in 9th grade and the hottie that's a senior is just going, yeah, text me. We'll see what's up. And I'm like, no way. I can't do that. I don't have those kind of balls.
You're like, are you sure? Really?
So this weekend I was shooting a new show that I'm doing. Just did a couple days of it. And I was there with Tom, my manager, who's there just to make sure everything's going all right. And he says, you text Jim Nantz yet? I said, I haven't. He goes, well, it's been 2-3 weeks. Why haven't you texted him? I was like, I don't know what to say. And he's like, just text him. I said, okay. So the blue is what I'll read it to you, but that's how much I text him.
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All in all, it's 15 lines.
Dang.
On the surface, how does that feel?
On the surface, I would say you really were thinking about this for sure.
I was. And do you feel like that this amount of blue is stalkery blue?
No, because if I know you, if it was maybe somebody else that I know, but if I know you, it's all well thought out and planned and put together very nicely.
Mike, what do you think? Is that stalkery amount of blue for a first set?
That's a girthy text message.
Girthy's a good word for it. Would you like to hear what I sent Jim Nantz?
I would love to hear it.
And you can tell me if I'm scared, a little overzealous, whatever the word you would like to say about this, I welcome it. Take the shots if you need to. Hey, Jim. Now, would you have led with Jim?
Hey,
start. Jim, or would you say, hey, Mr. Nantz, or hey, Jim Nantz? That's a debate I had. Do I go, hey, Jim Nantz, hey, Mr. Nantz, hey, JM? I don't know. What would you have led with?
Jim. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim. Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim.
Okay, so far good.
Yep.
I'm 1 for 1, baby. Hey, Jim. Bobby Bones here in Nashville. We met at the Pebble Pro-Am. Just wanted to say hello. We actually have a friend who looked at a house right next to you in town. They said Jim Nantz lives right there. Thought that was pretty cool. Welcome to town. Would love to have you come up on the radio and sports radio show when you're in town, or just grab some dinner sometime if you need friends here. Laughing emoji. Hope you're well, Bobby.
That was great.
Yeah.
I like it.
Very
Okay.
subtle.
You
Very
did what
subtle.
I said. Ask him to dinner.
Right? I mean,
Yeah, go for the date.
and I didn't just want to be like, I only want to use you. I don't want to just use you for your Nanciness. Why don't you just come in and, but if you want to hang, that would be, I mean, that's the ultimate goal is to go to dinner with Jim Nantz. Oh my God. I just kind of floated it out there. But I was like, hey, yeah, come up. And, or we'll just grab dinner sometime if you need a friend. I'd be like, that's fine. And then I used a laughing emoji. What do you think? He's like 60, right?
Yeah, you got to throw that in there, though.
That's okay though,
Lighten
right?
it up.
Mike,
Yeah, yeah.
or is that too?
No, I like it in
Okay.
there.
And I said, hope you're well. And I even did you're right, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E.
That's good.
Because the worst is when you accidentally do it wrong and you have to send a message that corrects it because you just don't want them thinking you're an idiot. Even though they probably wouldn't think you're an idiot because they've also typoed it a lot. Yes. But you just can't let that live.
Yes.
So I hope you're well, Bobby. And I sent that on Saturday at 1:28 p.m. And then I waited. Saturday day. Tick, 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 tick. Saturday night came. Tick, 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 tick. And I'm like, is Jim Nantz going to respond? Did I get Jim Nantz's burner phone? Is that even Jim Nantz's number at all? Let me go look and make sure that was the right number. And all checked out. Yesterday, 4:17 p.m. 27 hours later. So I was not high on Jim Nantz's priority list, but he did text me back, and this is the amount he texted me back.
Oh, wow. He matched you.
Almost.
Almost, yeah.
Now, I'm going to be careful with what I'm saying because I don't want to reveal anything that he would want me to reveal, but I can still give you the gist of it. And he didn't say anything crazy. Bobby, great to meet you at Pebble Beach. I am blankety, 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 blank until June. Would love to join you on the show when I'm back in August, September, October. It's a Super Bowl season for us coming up on CBS. We could talk about the NFL. Let's do it in the fall. Let's circle back on this. It'll be an honor. Great looking golf swing, by the way. JN.
Dang.
Let's go.
Gave you talking points.
Dang. And golf swing, too?
And then I said, love it. See you on the other side.
Yeah.
And I replied like 1 minute later. I don't want Jim Nantz wondering if I'm like caring. So that's what I said. Love it. I'll see you on the other side. And that was where we left it. So it'd have been cool to have him in here today.
Yeah.
But if he's ready to go and we already warmed him up and it's me hitting him up. Hey, just following up on this. You said this. Let's do it. How cool will it be to have Jim Nantz in here in the fall?
Especially during football season.
We'll have to get Eddie back for that.
Oh, yeah.
Have to bring him out of retirement.
Yeah.
So that's the Jim Nantz story. Golf club, my situation, and it ends with a text from Jim Nantz.
I like it.
It's a heck of a story, boys. Just in general, that story took 20 minutes. I did not know it was going to take that long.
Now, did you type something out in your notes before you sent this on the? You
No,
ever do that? Okay.
no.
And you have like 4 different
Hey,
drafts.
I'm not crazy. As I tell you, I waited 3 weeks to actually push it. No, I just wrote it and sent it. And the only reason I wrote it and sent it is because Tom was with me. And he goes, dude, I didn't track his manager down and get the number for you to not send a text.
Right.
And I was like, that's true. That's true. So, Jim Nantz, this fall, hopefully in the studio.
Let's do it.
Thought it was pretty cool. Well, there's a lot of playoff stuff to talk about, and I spent all day Saturday and Sunday. I had 2 really long television shoot days, so like double-digit hours each day. So I was not able to watch a full game of anything, but I watched some of all of them, and then went back and watched a bunch of the highlights too. So just know that I didn't get to watch any of them, although I did watch almost the whole Thunder game when they lost. And it's Thunder in Minnesota.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah.
And so, but man, I love the Thunder. I like the Thunder anyway because Jalen Williams plays for them. My Arkansas Jalen Williams, also Jalen Williams.
Lead. Yeah.
J-A-L, I don't know.
Yeah.
J-A-Y is the guy that I know and did an NIL with at Arkansas, who's from Arkansas. And so he got drafted the early second round. My wife's a massive Thunder fan, and that's who we watch a lot on NBA Sunday Ticket. is that we watch him and we watch the Thunder. And so they're a big Thunder family. So I've become, through just hanging out, proximity, a Thunder fan for the last few years. They're going to be so good.
Yeah.
They're the second youngest team in NBA history.
Ever?
Like to maybe like to have a winning record, or maybe ever. Yeah. Mike, will you look that up? Yeah, but they're like the second, maybe ever, period. The second overall youngest team. And they average like 21 years old or something.
That's wild.
They have 15 number one picks in the next 5 years.
Jeez.
15 first round picks.
Yeah.
So I watched them lose, and
yeah, their average age is 22.5 years.
And what does it say? Does it say it's like they're like the second youngest ever?
The youngest team in basketball history.
Oh, maybe they're the youngest.
Wow.
So they're super young. They're going to get Chet back next year.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he's going to come in and set the world on fire, but he's had a year to grow up, be around the NBA, which would have been different had he just got dunked into it this year.
Yeah.
So I watched Thunder lose. That game was not really a game they were ever going to win. They had closed the gap to like 5 or 6 at one point, and then Minnesota just kind of ran away with it. They just weren't missing. Minnesota just wasn't missing. Nobody was missing. They were shooting threes like crazy. If it wasn't Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, you gave somebody the ball, they were just going to. So anyway, I watched that. Was super happy with the Thunder, how that ended. But then Minnesota goes in, and I'm just thinking to myself, even before it starts, they got to be tired.
Yeah.
Because they lost.
In overtime.
Yeah, let me get this order. They lost, then they won, then they won again. They had to play 3 games, right?
2 to get in.
Was it just 2?
Yeah.
So they lost, and then as the loser, are you sure?
Yeah, then they had to play the winner of OKC and whoever OKC beat last week.
Were they the... I don't want to get into the weeds here. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But I just thought, man, they got to be tired. Even 2 games is more than any of these other jabronis had to play.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we'll get to that. But Gobert, listen, I know they make fun of Gobert, and he wasn't worth all the picks and all the players that they gave up for him. He played really solid in that Oklahoma City game. Like defensively, he played well. He made like 9 of 11 free throws. It was wild. I love Rudy Gobert. I don't care anything about him. He didn't play much offense.
No.
He did catch an alley-oop and dunk an alley-oop from an awkward place, but he's 7 foot, whatever. So, okay, here we go. My basketball started with watching that on Friday, and let's go through some of the games. The Heat beat the Bucks 130-117, and everybody got hurt.
Yeah.
Giannis leaves because of a back issue. He fell and it happened, right?
Yeah.
Because I saw him holding his back, and I thought it was when he fell. Tyler Hero broke his hand and then stayed in the game. Ended up making a 3 with a broken hand.
Wild.
And then who knows if he's going to be back. Giannis, I think, will be back.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be back. I don't know if Tyler Hero's going to be back.
He's out for 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, I didn't catch that till.
Yeah.
Is that this morning that came across?
Yeah. He's out 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, he's out then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. Butler had 35 points. Jimmy Butler is like playoff buckets.
That's why, as a Celtics fan, I did not want to play them.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we're playing the Hawks. You just don't know with the Heat.
He was an inch away from beating you guys last year.
Yeah.
With that deep 3 at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Whew. Celtics beat the Hawks 112-99 to go up 1-0. That game was never really in jeopardy. You're a Celtics fan. How'd you feel about it?
I felt great. I mean, they were up 30 at half. I think 32 was their biggest lead. They kind of gave it up in the second half a little bit, but it was one of those, it's just basketball. Teams are going to go on their runs, and they close it out. They'll be fine.
I never felt like, because there were a time when I was just having to watch the score instead of the game, I never felt like Atlanta really had the muscle or the weapons or the consistency to take that game over.
No.
Jalen Brown had 29. Tatum had 25. That's what's up. That will probably be a 4-1 series if I'm guessing. I would think Atlanta can squeak one of those games out just because I think anybody can squeak. I think us 5 in here could squeak out one game against the Celtics in a 7-game series. Sixers beat the Nets 121-101. You know what was cool to me? I probably watched 2/3 of this game. Was that just Harden looks solid. Really good, but I mean consistent. He's shooting threes. He looks like he's in shape. He feels dangerous because not only is he playing well, I mean, Embiid had 26 points or so too. He didn't have to hog it all. I think he had 13 assists. Harden didn't feel like and wasn't trying to score 40. Harden's line was 23-13, and Embiid had 26 and 5. But if Harden is playing not super selfish and Embiid's healthy, the Sixers are a lot more dangerous. I'm basing this on one game, too. I'm putting it all in one game basket now.
Hey.
But watching Harden play kind of scared me a little bit for the Celtics.
No.
None?
Nope.
Oh.
No, not at all. Brooklyn, I mean, come on. They're good, but
Brooklyn got pretty good after they made those trades. Like, oddly, they became better by subtraction and some of those new younger guys. But, yeah.
yeah.
I don't think they're going to win this. I'm just talking about if we move ahead. Like, I think the Sixers, if Harden goes double-digit assists, they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah. Well, you got to stay away from those,
yeah.
those late nights
Those
and those
booby bars, man.
Yeah.
The Sixers shot 21 for 43 as far as three-pointers went. I mean, 15 were uncontested. It feels to me like those uncontested threes will be pretty hard because they're so open. It's like if someone said, all right, there's a trash can in the corner. We're all watching you. Nobody's in front of you. Make it with that paper wide. You're just thinking about it a little too much, but I guess they shoot so many.
It's like a football catch, too, when a guy's wide open and you're almost like, oh,
There's a lot to think of.
So much pressure.
And you're thinking about things wide open that you don't think about whenever someone's at least somewhat coming at you, where you're like, can I get this off? Just going straight muscle memory. Exactly. There's more to think about where it's like, all right, I'm so wide open. Oh, God, there's nobody coming. What the heck? Do I want to drive? Do I want to step forward? Yeah. So those uncontesteds, I'm sure they love them. Knicks beat the Cavs 101-97. Before the game, they were like, Julius Randle is what's level below probable?
Questionable?
Maybe. Or it kept bouncing between people not knowing if he was going to be able to play or not. And he did play, and he went 19 and 10. And Jalen Brunson, 27 points. Mavs, what did you do?
Yes.
What did you do?
What a stud.
Josh Hart had 17 points. That Knicks Cavs series, though, when you asked me what's the 4-5 I was looking forward to, both of those 4-5s to me are extremely interesting. But this is the one. And I think it's going to be a really good series. And I think whoever comes out of it's going to be so exhausted.
Yes.
Because it's probably going to go 6 or 7.
Yep.
Nuggets beat up on the tired Timberwolves, 109-80. Jamal Murray had 24. Jokic had 13, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. We've been talking about the Nuggets all year. Obviously, they're the number one. Can they win the West? Yes or no?
Yes, they can.
100% they do, absolutely. Obviously, 1% they don't. Where would you put it?
After weekend one, I will say 90% because the only other one
You think they're a 90% chance to win the West?
I just think it's so wide open, and they have such a good team that after watching the Suns lose, it's like, okay.
But it's only one game. And it is wide open. I will agree with that. It's so wide open. But I can't give them 90%. That means it's not wide open. That means they are the team.
I think they're the team to beat in the West as the 1 seed, and they looked the best. I know they played a tired Timberwolves team, but still.
What are you going to commit to as far as who you think comes out of the West? Let's just commit.
Let's do the Nuggets.
Okay.
Let's go.
Good for you. Lakers win game 1.
Good for you.
128-112. And I watched a lot of this game, and it was closer than that score indicates. With like 4 or 5 minutes left, it was a 4-point game at times. I think it was maybe even a 2-point game with 6 or 7 minutes left. I was watching it on my phone as we were shooting this. Austin Reeves, when he flexed, awesome and hilarious. Austin Reeves is from Arkansas. Didn't play at the University of Arkansas.
Where did he play?
He played at like Wichita State or something.
Okay.
Maybe not Wichita State. He played at like Southwest Missouri. Mike, will you look that up for me? So, Austin Reeves flexing was hilarious and awesome. He played a really great game.
Mm-hmm.
He went 5 for 5 in the fourth, 9 points late, 23 total. I mean, LeBron, he had one of those open threes late in the second half, like wide open. Nobody was near him. And he just dropped it. Mm-hmm. It's awesome to see. Mike, what do you see?
Wichita State and then Oklahoma.
And so, my instinct was right. That's crazy. So he's from Arkansas, though, right?
Yep.
What town?
Let me see.
It just wasn't. Whoever the coach was there, probably Mike Anderson at the time. I don't know. Didn't recruit him.
Dang, he's a stud.
Newark, Arkansas.
Okay. Kings beat the Warriors 126-123. De'Aaron Fox put up almost 40 points. That clip of the kid talking crap to Steph.
That was great.
He's like, but 40 on. hilarious. I know the Kings beat the Warriors. I get you. It was in Sacramento. I can't imagine Golden State. Fox had to score almost 40 points for them to win, and it was still close. It was funny. They asked Fox in the postgame, they were like, what was it like? And I think it was Deladova who had a clip of him talking about, or somebody was talking about Deladova guarding Steph for a whole night. And he was like, it was awful. I'm dead. I gave everything I had, and I still couldn't do it. And so I think it was J.R. Smith on TikTok, if I'm trying to remember this, talking about Deladova.
You're right.
Yeah. And he was like, I talked to him, and he was like, he tried with everything. He was so exhausted. Steph never stops. I just don't think they can do that to Steph every game. So, but do that. Steph still played fine. I don't know what Steph's line was. Do you?
I do not, but he still even had a chance at the end. He shot a 3 at the end, barely missed it.
That kid was funny, though. The camera was right on the back of Steph's head and right on him, talking crap. They should follow that kid. And he should be the guy they put up there, make him famous for a minute. And if Sacramento loses, well, sucks for you, kid. And if they win, he should be the guy we roll with.
They got to bring him courtside again, right?
I'm sure he's rich and can get courtside
Probably,
again.
probably.
What do you got?
He had 30 points, 6 rebounds.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty good night for Steph. I just don't think they can do that 3 more times to Golden State. You know what? Coming out of I should do the Suns. Suns got beat. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Suns got beat by the Clippers. Did you watch any of that game? That's the one I watched the least of.
You know what? I actually watched 3 quarters, so of course the fourth quarter, because it got a little late at that time, but it was a great game going back and forth. And it was just Kawhi and KD kind of going back and forth. I think Kawhi, I want to say, had 38 points or so.
Kawhi is like Mr. Load Management during the season, but it's easy to forget about Kawhi. One, because he plays for the Clippers, the second famous of the LA teams. 2, he's quiet, so there's not really a lot about him as far as making the news or making the pop culture NBA news because he does his own thing. But you can't sleep on Kawhi. But you have to watch him really playing at his prime again to remember that.
I know, and it wasn't even that long ago, 19, when he had that run. But with Paul George, he has to do more, and he was the best player on the floor last night.
Paul George, he's not playing though. The rest is that?
Yeah, he's
right?
out for the series.
He's done.
Yep.
For the series. I just still, and again, I didn't watch much. This is the game I watched the least of. What was the deal with KD?
He was very cold at first. He was shooting. They were getting to him a little bit, but he just couldn't hit anything in the beginning. He had 27. He finished with 27, so he still had his points. But they just kind of looked out of sync, and the Clippers were all over him. Clippers looked like they were playing harder, faster. They wanted it more. You know that old saying?
Yeah. I hate that old saying.
I know.
So he's not going to come. It's a knee thing, right? As far as Paul George, isn't that what he's messing with?
Yes.
Man, when it comes to Kevin Durant, I just don't. He doesn't stay cold. And if Durant's hot, the spacing on the floor opens up. They got to pay more attention to him, which gives Booker more room, which gives Ayton more space, which gives Chris Paul more space to actually put the ball in places for those guys. I'm going. I picked the Lakers. I'm gonna go with the Lakers from the West. Still, I'm not gonna back out of that.
Okay.
Just because you're gonna go with Denver, I'll go with the Lakers.
Okay, let's do it.
And I don't want to do the thing where I cheat, but I think we both wouldn't be surprised if the Suns won it.
Yeah.
Because Vegas has I think the Suns is the West favorite, right?
West favorite, yeah. Even the Clippers, they played as well as they could, and they still only won by 5. So it took everything they had.
It's NBA playoffs time. Big hoops action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Get in on the excitement of every game with just a touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if the team wins. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the NBA playoffs. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook. Get in that app. Opt in. Place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. Same-game parlays. What you want to do, though, is you want to tap that same-game parlay button. Then it goes over to green, and then you do your same-game parlays. Because then it fixes all the odds a little better for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With the parlays?
Yeah, you want to hit the same-game parlay. it goes up. Download the app now. Sign up with the code Bobby Sports. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code Bobby Sports. 21 and up in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. See show notes for full details. You know, I had planned that we do a shorter episode today. I told Mike this might happen too. Where I'm like, we may just get into it and feel like we're so into it that we're just going to keep rolling. We were going to do a very short one just on the playoffs, but I got on to Jim Nantz, and then we got into the playoffs, and before you know it, we're 40 minutes in already, which is fine by me because I got NFL stuff to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just need that other DraftKings read. Do we have it?
I can get it for you.
You have it? Okay, cool. We'll get it in a second. So the Commanders, that sale is not finalized. How many times does that tell us the team is sold and this team's not sold? I feel like Dan Snyder doesn't really want to sell the team. I know he doesn't want to sell the team, but I feel like he's not going to sell the team. This is all going to be some trick. Magic Johnson's part of the team with the 76ers owner, I believe, that put in the $6 billion offer.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, okay, let's go. Sell the team, Dan Snyder. Give Commander fans a chance to have a team that wins. Give Commander fans a chance to have a team without an owner that's making the news for being a creep. Give Commander fans a reason to root for an organization that will have a better mascot. Remember when they put out that little, and listen, the Arkansas Razorbacks, they're the Hogs, but they have a little hog guy that's like the Commander's mascot.
Yeah.
That thing's stupid.
And wasn't that only popular back in like the late 80s or early 90s when they had the Hogs?
Well, they should. I thought if they'd have been like the Washington Hogs, I thought that'd have been a cooler name. Commanders is too generic for me. It is what it is now. Commanders, what does that even mean? Commander of what?
Yeah. What are you commanding?
Yeah, what are you commanding?
The football?
Douchiness, Dan Snyder? You Commander Douchey?
The inability to sell your team?
Yes. Or to get a quarterback or to spend money. So that's what's up. But really, here's what happened. Multiple reports that the team was going to sell to the Josh Harris group for $6 billion, but now there's a $7 billion cash offer on the table from DC native Brian Davis. If that ends up happening, Davis would be the first black owner in the NFL. Reports say that if approved, Davis would also be willing to take on any legal liability related to Snyder and ongoing investigations into the team. Boy, that alone would probably get me to sell it. If I was in a bunch of trouble, yeah. Like, how do you do that? Like, it'd be cool if it's like, yeah, I robbed a bank and I'm going to trial for it, but I'm selling my house. And you want to buy my house? But will you also go to court and you should be up for it for this bank robbery? You will? I'll sell you the house, buddy. I'd sell the house for cheaper.
Yeah.
So that's the situation. Reports say Davis will pay Snyder $1 billion in the first 24 hours and the next $6 billion within 7 days. And that's all just those are just computer numbers. It's not like I would also demand that it come in cash. Bring it in. Roll it in wheelbarrows. I want to see the money.
I want to see that money.
$7 billion.
In cash.
Wild. Let's do injury updates real quick from NBA. And then I want to talk about Jalen Hurts because I know you got some news over there about him re-signing or signing or not signing. Giannis left game one on Sunday. He drove to the basket. He fell hard. He came back in the game for about a minute, but did not return. X-rays were negative. Bucks coach said there was an X-ray that was clear here. They're going to monitor him. I think he'll be, what do I know? I am a doctor.
That's true.
Yeah, just not in that. That's not my specialty.
We're working on it.
Yeah. Game 2 of the series Wednesday in Milwaukee, and the Bucks will hope the two-time MVP is feeling better then. Tyler Hero broke his hand. Eric Spoelstra did not offer a whole bunch in the postgame, but you really aren't going to know a whole lot postgame. He had this injury, and you have said now that it's been updated. It's 4 to 6 weeks.
Yep.
So he will not play again this year. Paul George, not going to play against the Suns all series, sprained right knee. George averaged almost 24 points per game in the Clippers in the almost 60 games that he played. Ja Morant, listen, the Memphis is done too if they don't have Ja.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he left. It was late when he left.
Midway through the fourth.
And he had a hand injury because he tried to dunk it and he came down kind of weird. Am I remembering this right?
Mm-hmm. He already had it wrapped.
Got it. His X-rays came back negative. They're evaluating his hand and wrist. I saw so many jokes on Twitter. Hope it wasn't his gun hand. I didn't say that. That wasn't my joke. I just saw so many jokes that people like, which hand was it? Was it his gun hand or was it? Morant expressed concerns about his availability for Game 2. He went on to say that his pain threshold and his ability to use his right hand would determine his availability for Wednesday's game. But that sucks. You know what also scared me a little bit was Anthony Davis, because he's always hurt.
Yeah.
But there was one point where something happened, and you can read his lips, and he goes, I can't feel my arm.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah. I couldn't tell. Yeah. Is that what he said?
I feel like that's what he said. And then he went out, and he could have just had like a NFL, you get a stinger on your shoulder. That could have been it. I don't feel like that's a long-term thing, or it would have been in what we're reading now. But he did go, I can't feel my arm. And I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah. Here we go again.
There go the freaking Lakers. Anthony Davis hurt. Because you know at some point, AD or LeBron's going to miss a couple games. And that's okay, because I think they have the guys to maybe win one of two, especially in this series, if somebody goes down. But they can't miss 4 or 5. They can't miss a whole series.
No.
Because both of those guys are rarely on. But one of them usually, if they're both healthy, is always on.
Yeah. And they can't expect. Well, Reeves is pretty good, but even Rui, like the game he had was like, wow, really?
Yeah.
He's having this kind of game?
Hey, they're stepping up. I love to see it. A reminder, 25 Whistles brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings app. Use the code BobbySports to get in on the action. And if I were parlaying a game 2, there are a couple things that I think I would do. I'm just going to go all money lines here. Because a lot of those games, too, were on the road. The road teams were winning.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I think Sunday, I think all the home teams lost.
I don't know. I'd need to look back, but
Or Denver, I guess.
Definitely possible. So I would go, here are my winners. Golden State wins for sure. Phoenix wins for sure. I don't even know what the lines are on those games. Golden State wins for sure. Phoenix wins for sure. Boston wins again for sure. So that's my parlay. And if you could pull up the lines, I guess I'll listen to them. But I just like the money liners because I always lose at the end on these NBA if I'm trying to chase a spread. What do you got?
Golden State, 1.5, -1.5.
Okay, I'll just take the money line on that.
And you said
Screw it. Golden State -1.5. Put that down. Let's make our odds a little better.
the Suns, Phoenix, even after losing, are still 7.5-point favorites.
Money line it.
Yeah. And then Celtics are 10.
Money line it. I think I'm going to add the Lakers to that too, especially if Jaw's out. What's that spread? It's got to be like 6 or 7, huh?
No. Memphis, still -1.5.
What? Okay, I put the Lakers in there too. Money line. Those are my 4, Mike. So you want to bet this? You're going to count your smiles. I feel pretty good about these. So we're going to go Lakers a winner, Suns a winner, Golden State a winner, Boston a winner. Now, if you're not feeling really randy like I am, drop that Lakers one. I'm bullish on the Lakers, though. If you're not bullish on the Lakers, don't bet the Lakers one. But for my part, my 4-gamer money line, that's it right there. You have any odds on that altogether? Like if you were to tie, it's all right if you were to type it all in. If you want to take the 25 Whistles parlay, you can check out DraftKings Sportsbook. New users use the code BobbySports when you download the app. 21 and up in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. See show notes for full details. Kevin, coming over to you. Tell me about Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts and the Eagles have agreed to a contract extension for 5 years, $255 million, including $179 million guaranteed.
Hey, good deal. Here's what I like about that. Jalen Hurts didn't demand all guaranteed money. So it's almost resetting that precedent that Deshaun Watson, that rumored Lamar Jackson. So that's a lot of money. And Jalen Hurts, think about this guy. Goes into Alabama, King Ding-a-ling, gets benched for Tua, sits as a backup, transfers to Oklahoma, plays wonderfully there, but it's not that anybody thinks he's going to be this super. Philadelphia tries to run him out of town. They don't want him as their starter. Crazy.
Yeah.
And here he is. He has a $255 million extension. His extension, did you say no trade clause? First time the Eagles have ever done it in the history of their team.
Wild.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Average money per year. At number 7, there is a tie. Daniel Jones, Matthew Stafford, and Dak Prescott. Which one of those doesn't belong?
I'm going to go with Daniel Jones.
And not that Dak Prescott has done.
True.
But the difference is Dak has at least been a starter for longer. I feel like Dak is still a bit different than Daniel Jones. I think he's proved that he can be consistently good. I like Daniel Jones, but he's had 1 year.
Yeah.
And his contract. And that was, remember, they didn't take his 5th-year option.
Yeah.
They said, we're good. Now, it wasn't Dayball and his staff, but they were like, we're good. We ain't going to take his 5th-year option. So that means Daniel Jones, free agent, gets $40 million. Awesome. Good for him.
Yeah.
Never going to hate anybody for making money. These owners are making so much money. You get what you can get. Always get what you can get. And your career is not, it's not the rest of your life. And we're talking about money, just so much money. It's not going to matter. But I never will fault anybody ever for getting as much as they can get, especially when you're making it or you have the ability to make it for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like these owners are making a ton of money. You got to have a good quarterback. If he plays pretty well, he's going to be absolutely worth that. But yeah, those three are tied 7th at $40 million. Josh Allen 6th at $43 million. And then what happens is the newer the quarterback deal, usually it jumps over the top of everybody else. It's just like it's a ladder. Next person goes up. Next person goes up. Patrick Mahomes, when he signed his like 32-year deal,
Yeah.
you're like, man, this will be forever. That's so much money. Patrick Mahomes, $45 million average per year. Think of 45 million. And again, this is just play money to us because we're just comparing the two. But think about $45 million a year. Crazy. Deshaun Watson, $46 million a year. And so, and you can see too, where these guys are probably like jumping over each other a little bit too. Kyler Murray, $46.1 million.
Yeah. Got to get that .1 in there.
Aaron Rodgers, $49 million. And Jalen Hurts, $51 million average of his deal. Good for you, buddy.
Dang.
Get it if you can get it. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, the story was that he said, go get OBJ and go over to the Cardinals and get Hopkins, and then we'll talk. Do you see that story?
I did.
And they're like, we can't afford them both. So they went and got OBJ. I don't know if they're still trying to get Hopkins. Obviously, I mean, they would trade him. But Lamar's like, do it and we'll talk. So they didn't do both, but are they talking? You know, it feels like a Jets move to get Rodgers to come in. Like getting an old player that used to be real good that we don't. I mean, Mercedes Lewis. I mean, didn't the Jets just sign Mercedes? Isn't he like 51?
Yeah. I can't believe he's still in the league.
But it's like if Rodgers wants him, and Rodgers going to end up retiring. And the Jets are going to have all of Rodgers' buddies and no Rodgers. Because now the Packers don't want to give up a first-round pick because they know he ain't playing for them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll either go to the Jets or he'll just retire. So where it is, they don't want to give a first-round pick. But then you have Lamar going, I want these two receivers. They got one of them. Does he talk now? What's the latest you've heard about this? I've heard nothing, and that nothing has happened. Just that story.
That's it. That's the only thing I've seen in the last week or so. Was they want both, or he wants both of them. They said, we can't afford both of them, so we'll try to get you one. And they did get him one, and probably overpaid for one.
Yeah. I would say overpaid for one.
Yes.
All right. I think that's it. Everybody feel good? Mikey, you feel good?
I feel good.
Look at us. We're just going to come on and do a little shorty. I do this all the time, Mike, and I know he knows me, and he's like, he says he's going to do a short one. But I was like, if we get on and we feel good, let's just keep rolling. And we did, and we're glad we did. If we talk about, I'm going to pull this up, but we talk about our final thought. Kevin, what you got? Anything?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the weekend of the NBA. These injuries, I hate to see them happen. I know a couple of them are a little bit longer, but I hope they don't keep happening in this playoffs because I want to see as much. Even as a Celtics fan, I want to see Giannis in there. I want to see all these guys in there. So I hope it stops after weekend one.
So even on other teams, you want to see injuries stop?
Yeah,
Because I you know what? I'll be like, I hope everybody gets injured except my team.
I mean, my initial thought is, oh, Giannis is going to be out. Like, that'll be easier. But then I don't want to beat the Bucks and then
Yeah,
be,
you
oh,
do.
well, we didn't have you.
Nah, you do,
Giannis.
though, because you still got to beat a bunch of other good people, too. You still. And what kind of Buck fans talking crap to you?
I know one guy.
Okay. Now, here's what I want to say. We got a pretty good week coming up as far as guests here on the show. Adam Brenneman's going to talk college football from ESPN. We got Rob Parker from Fox Sports coming up. And we also have Dane Brugler. Did we have Dane on? Have we had him on before, Mike?
No.
Oh, cool. Because he works for The Athletic and he's doing some NFL draft stuff. I really like his work over there. I subscribe to The Athletic. And so I'm pretty pumped. We're going to have all 3 of them on this week. That's it. I'm playing the Opry tomorrow night.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No.
It has nothing to do with the
Never
show. My point has nothing to do with the show. I have my calendar up, so I'm kind of looking at what's going on. So I'm playing the Opry tomorrow night. I'm pretty excited about that. I've probably played it about a month or so. So you guys have a great day. Thanks for listening to 25 Whistles. Oh, Reed, do you want to give us one?
Oh yeah. Well, I had a great birthday weekend. Played golf.
How'd you shoot? I saw you went plus 30 on.
Absolutely trash.
Not to throw your score out there, but it only popped up because, Reed, are we friends on 18 birdies?
I think I added you, but you didn't add me back yet.
No, well, it popped up on my phone, your score.
Oh, what?
So maybe we are birdies. Or we are friends.
I did. Oh,
And then I was like, well, let me see what I'll Reed shot. And it said plus 30. I was like, oh, I don't need to mention this to him.
it was trash. It was so bad.
I
But
would have stopped putting the score in. I'd just been through like 11 holes. I'd have just stopped putting it in and suffered through it. Why was it so bad?
I think it's just because it was a new course. It was what's it called? It's whatever Gators course was. But it was cold. My chipping and putting was not there at all.
And you don't have new clubs yet.
Nope, I'm going to order them today. Actually,
You are going to go order them.
I'm gonna go get them. Yep. And shout out to Bobby. Sweet man he is. Sent me some smiles this
I'm
weekend.
a very sweet man.
for some clubs.
I was like, do not spend this on bills or food. Do not spend this on anything you should spend it on.
Do not parlay this.
Well, I don't know. He bets randomly and wins. But I was like, you can only spend this money on golf clubs, whatever the case is.
I bought a Scotty Cameron putter. That's what I did with it. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that.
You didn't, right?
I did.
I already was
promise.
like, we had this talk. It's not worth. You can get one eventually. That's the least important thing. If you're not good enough to have it,
Which I'm not. So
no. Once you have everything else, you don't have to be good. If like you have the money and you want to get it. But it's like if you got to start over, you don't start over by paying $500 for a Scotty Cameron putter.
no, not at all. But I appreciate you. That was very, very nice.
All right, that's what's up. We'll see you guys later on this week, and I'm gonna blow the whistle. We're out of here. See you guys.